Okay, well, here we are, episode 543 of the podcast. We're talking a little bit in this one. We're going to talk Yankees, obviously. But we have a lot of topics to cover. We're going to cover the Orioles series. We're going to talk some more trade deadline news and updates and stuff. And then we're going to hand out progress reports briefly at the end of the show. And anything else we'll talk about that comes to mind, we'll do. But yeah, it's been a dire season, and I can't say I'm surprised too much. Let's if you're one to still be optimistic about this team, let's just cut the shit, okay? And let's try to be a little bit realistic, because sometimes those who lean on the optimistic side tend to be too optimistic, just like those like myself who can lean on the pessimistic side tend to be pessimistic. But I always feel like the pessimists are closer to reality than the optimists. And so I believe this team is I think they're finished. I think they're toast. I think there's no way this team is winning a World Series championship. God, we got to get into the playoffs first. And I honestly, at this point, I kind of don't want to try doing that. I have other goals on my mind. My expectation, my goals have shifted if I'm the GM of this team. So we'll talk about all of that in this episode 543 of the podcast. Let's get to the intro. Welcome to BD4, an RJ Carbone podcast. BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. BD4 is a 5-star show on Apple Podcasts, also available in video format on YouTube and Spotify. So thanks for stopping by, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Champion of the world, turning, looking, see ya! Anthony for three, bang! That one goes down, and the game is tied! Penetrates, creates, and showing some dexterity as well with the left hand. Yankees win!
All right, let's go. Episode 543 of the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. Hey, UFC 291 was at least fun. Maybe we'll have an episode out on that. I know we keep saying that, but we've been so busy between the show. Got some stuff at work. I got another job, my writing job. I've just been very busy. It's hard to cover the UFC and the Yankees every 3 days at once. So I'm gonna try. But it was a really good card. The Derek Lewis fight, the Alex Pereira fight, the fucking main event was really good. Justin Gaethje getting the KO kick over Dustin Poirier for the BMF title. And really, there are a lot of other good fights on that card, man. So yeah, maybe we'll have a guest or two on sometime between now and the next pay-per-view event. But we're not here to talk UFC. We're here to talk about this dire Yankees team. And I got to say one thing before we begin. I need it to end. Not the season, but the hope. This team just needs to. I heard it on a podcast last night. And I was so pissed off last night. I listened to 4 different ones, so I kind of forget which one it was. But I think it was John Boy. This team just needs to cut the random shit, the random wins and the 2 or 3 game streaks that we go on where we look decent. They need to cut that out because it's getting me all messed up in the head. The false hope that I get after one single win it's lame, but it's so immense, it's incredible. It's so powerful that it clouds my mind from any kind of logic. And I'm not able to, like I said at the very top, cut the shit. If we were to win last night, there would have been part of me saying to myself, even though in the back of my mind I know it's not true, but there would have been a part of me saying to myself, okay, Judge is back. We can make a little bit of a run. We look much better. 2.5 back from a playoff spot, blah, blah, blah. We just took 2 of 3 from Baltimore. We look good against them in the season series. Like, that would have been my thought process, trying to fool myself into believing. And I do that whenever we pick up one of these random wins. I cannot, for whatever reason, shake that as a diehard fan. So I just need the Yankees to go out there on Tuesday and confirm that they're punting this season away and they're going to sell off any assets they can. I need that mentality. I need them to become sellers. So I just want to get that out of the way. I need this Yankees team to stop giving me bullshit hope that I shouldn't even be having after these random wins that we get like we did on Saturday. Okay. We'll dive into this series. Going to try to make it quick because we have important topics to talk about. But on Friday night, the Yankees lost game 1 by a score of 1-0 against the Orioles in Baltimore. Gerrit Cole went up against Grayson Rodriguez. The game was delayed. There was a rain delay until 9:45 or something like that. It's supposed to start at 7. It was scoreless the entire night. I mean, there's nothing really to recap. There was a lot of good defense played in this game, especially from Baltimore. And obviously good pitching from both sides. Cole ends up going 7. Rodriguez goes 6 1/3. But in the bottom of the 9th, the Yankees lose the game. Canely is in as the third reliever of the night for New York. And he throws 3 consecutive changeups to Anthony Santander. And he takes it and he belts one of those changeups to right center field or right field, does the crazy bat flip, stares at it, and the Yankees lose 1-0 on a walk-off home run. So they wasted a very masterful gem against the tough Orioles lineup. Gerrit Cole, who we'll get into later in the show. A little bit, not really. We're just going to hand him the award. He has a good game. 7 innings, no runs, 3 hits, no extra base hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts, no home runs, 110 pitches. And unfortunately, gets the no decision. He was masterful. But that's how the Yankees are. In the bullpen, you have King, Peralta, and Canely pitch after Cole. But, they continue to blow tight games. I think they're a little overrated at this point. I stopped looking at the numbers. I just don't feel confident. Just the not the eye test, but the feeling I get when they're in an extra inning game, I just don't feel confident that they're going to limit the inherited runner or whatever. Stop the guy from hitting a home run. 3 straight changeups. That's wild. The bats in this game, no runs on 4 hits, no extra base hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, and they were 0 for 3. Shocker with runners in scoring position. Judge, this was his first game back. He looked sharp in his return. He drew 3 walks. That's if they're smart, pitchers are just going to continue to do that. They're going to pitch around them if they're smart because nobody in this lineup can hit. Grayson Rodriguez ends up going 6 1/3, no runs. I mean, this guy came into the game with a 6 or 7 ERA. They made him look like prime Verlander. He does throw some serious heat. He's got great movement on his pitches. His off speed looks good, and yeah, all that. But he's a guy who has gotten lit the fuck up this year, and of course he goes into the 7th against the Yankees. How many times have we seen that the last couple months? Stanton goes 0 for 4, a couple strikeouts, a double play hit into. The Yankees had a shot in this game in the top of the 4th, but he grounds into a double play. They also had a shot in the 7th, but Bader grounds into a double play. And then Rizzo had his chances too in this game, but of course he did 0, as he's been doing since May ended. And that was it for the first game of the series. Again, the Yankees lose this one 1-0. Let's see if we can find the highlight on the screen if anyone cares. Here it is. Should be coming up right here. Tommy Canely literally throws 3 consecutive changeups. I mean, he throws that pitch. I get it. It's his best pitch. It's got a lot of sink and fade to it to the right-handed batter. But this one was left a little too high up over the plate to Santander, and he blasts it. So that's it for game one. We'll talk about, we'll move right on to the second game of the series, where the Yankees actually won 8-3. You had Clark Schmidt going up against Wells. This was the Fox broadcast, and the Yankees were on the board early. Top of the first, Stanton hits the solo bomb. Bottom of the second, though, the Orioles answered back with 2. You had Mountcastle hit a home run off of Clark Schmidt. It's 2-1 Baltimore. But in the top of the third, the Yankees go back up. Judge goes deep to make it 3-2. Of course he does. Top of the fourth, the Yankees get another run. Get a little hit and run action. And then later on, it's Gleyber with the sac fly to make it 4-2 Yankees. Top of the fifth, the Yankees come up empty versus Irvin. They had first and second with, I think, 1 out, but they get 0 from it. And then the bottom of the fifth comes, the Orioles get 1 on Clark. I think it was walk, double, ground ball, RBI to Rizzo from Santander, and it's 4-3 Yankees. But in the top of the sixth, the Yankees decide to break this game open. Higashioka the home run. 3 straight singles from the top of the order was enough for Brandon Hyde to come out and pull Irvin for Baker. So the second pitcher in relief, he comes in, and after a 10-pitch battle to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, this guy Baker leaves him a fastball that he crushes. It was upstairs in the zone. He crushes it for a double to left field to clear the bases. It was such a huge hit at the time to get that breathing room. And again, because I'm an idiot who has this delusion in the back of my mind that the Yankees might be able to make a run, at this time I was like, oh, is this the hit of the season? Kind of like the Bader hit was the last time we had played Baltimore. And it puts the Yankees up 8-3. And really, from the bottom of the sixth inning and on, the Yankees close it down with their bullpen. Hamilton goes a perfect 6th and 7th. Ramirez goes a perfect 8th and 9th. And the Yankees win this game 8-3. The Bats score 8 runs on 12 hits, 3 extra base hits, 5 walks, only 6 Ks, 2 of 10 in scoring position, of course. Judge and Higgy, 3 hits. Judge and Stanton, a home run. IKF had 3 RBIs, a couple of walks and a double. Stanton, 2 hits. Clark Schmidt goes 5 innings, 3 runs, 5 hits, a walk, a hit batter, 2 strikeouts, a home run, 96 pitches, and gets the win. And again, the bullpen combines for 4 perfect innings, striking out 4. And that was really it for the second game of the set. Forgot to play the highlights there, but there's Stanton's first inning bomb. That was a line drive crush. He's got 14 home runs, you'll give him that, but he's basically Donaldson at this point. All power, no consistency, and he can't even play defense. Or run, or move. If it's not out of the ballpark, what value is he bringing? So the Yankees lost the second game. Fuck the highlights. Let's get into the third. And this was over from the start. What's there to recap? This was a Sunday Night Baseball broadcast, Severino versus Creamer. It was awful, and it was over from the get-go, like way too many Yankees games have been this year. Severino gives the Yankees no chance in the first inning when he allows 7 runs. In order, at-bat to at-bat, single, another single, double, mound visit, another double, walk, home run. The man allowed 6 runs before recording a single out. Then he finally records a strikeout. But then single, another strikeout, another mound visit, strikeout. It's 7-0 Orioles after 1. Severino ends up going a disgraceful 3 1/3, 9 runs, 10 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, gets the loss. He's so freaking bad, and I am so over that guy. I don't want to see his face ever again in pinstripes. I don't want to see him pitch another game for the Yankees. I don't want him in the bullpen for the Yankees. I just don't want to see him in the dugout. I'm over him. I don't want to see this guy's face in Yankee pinstripes or in Yankee road grays. I don't want to see him. Marinaccio and Abreu had to come in and save the bullpen last night. They did a nice job at least, but who cares? Jake Bauers provides some offense with a home run in the top of the third, and then the RBI double in the top of the fourth. Bader hits the sac fly later, but the Yankees pathetically lose this game 9-3, I think it was. They struck out 18 times. which was a season high. 18 strikeouts in a game for the New York Yankees. Rizzo struck out 5 times. He was 0 for 5 with 5 Ks. That's nice. This guy sucks. Oh, this was the game without Judge, by the way. And I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that decision a little bit when we return from break. Stay with us here on BD4 episode 543. We'll be right back.
We appreciate you sticking around and listening so far. When you have a chance, be sure to open YouTube to subscribe, like, and comment. And if you're already watching on YouTube, be sure to head over to Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star review. We appreciate your feedback and are always looking to improve. Now, with that all said, let's get you back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Rob Carbone, RJ Carbone. I don't know why I said Rob. It's been like a minute since I called myself Rob. RJ. And you're listening to episode 543 of the podcast. So, last night, Sunday Night Baseball, there was no Aaron Judge. Nope, not hurt, just getting rest because he just got back from getting rest for 2 months. First of all, before I even hammer the cupcake at the head for this, and we'll talk about that loser in a second, let me just say, since he's the captain, Judge, and we compare him to Jeter a lot like we do everyone now, Jeter would have played. If you're the captain and you now have some legs to stand on, just not a toe, you're making $40 million a year. This is one of the bigger games of the season, if not the biggest game of the season for you. You got to speak the hell up and make it a point to DH at the very least. I feel like you could say he did something behind the scenes. Maybe he did. You would have heard about it because they report everything today. You know, there's a whole media shit about fucking Donaldson talking to Boone in his office before the game a half an hour. There would have been something you heard. I don't think he said a thing. This guy's quiet. He's quiet. He's nice. He's too humble. He's happy. I just don't feel like he has the it factor as to be a guy who is loud. And sometimes you need to be a bit of a vocal leader. Have a little bit of pushback in you. I'm sorry. This whole thing has just been so irritating to me. Maybe that's a bad take, but like if it's the toe right now, sidelining him for 2 months, I can't help but to just imagine what this contract could, not going to say would, but could look like 3 or 4 years down the stretch. I'll stop there because I don't want to pounce on Aaron Judge because he's been the lone Yankee worth watching this season in the lineup. But this is more on that loser who calls himself manager. Because Judge comes back to save the season. He tells you he's good to go. He looks very good in the first 2 games. He has like a 600 on base in those 2 games, bunch of walks, couple hits, a homer. And you sit him. In arguably the most important game during the most important time of the entire 2023 season, you decide to sit Aaron Judge. This is during a time where bad baseball teams like the Chicago Cubs are deciding their entire season off of a little 6-game win streak against some bad teams. But you sit Judge. And if you can't tell what kind of message that sent to the team last night, you should probably watch what happened in last night's Sunday night game. The most pathetic part about that was that it was all predetermined. It was pre-announced. It was said that was going to happen before Game 2. And that's the issue right there. That is the issue with Boone and this loser mindset that the organization carries. Everything is set in stone. It's all in the script. It's predetermined. It's already written down. They could have been headed for a sweep, or they could have been about to get swept. But it would not matter to them because winning is second priority. The Yankees act and they've been acting this way for the last several seasons now, as if they have a playoff spot locked down, as if they're good. This team right now is 9 games back from the division, 7.5 out from the first wild card, and 3.5 out behind the second and third wild card, with 3 teams ahead of them. Winning at all costs, right? World Series operation. Why are fans confused? Well, I'm sorry, why are fans upset? The Yankees are very arrogant. They've got this fake confidence where there's just zero urgency. And it never wavers. And it's disgusting. And it's pulseless. They see nothing wrong ever. Boone's quote. His quote last night. After a game where the Yankees struck out an alarming 18 times. Word for word. He goes, outside of the strikeouts, I thought the at-bats were building off of last night. I thought we grinded out really well. We made it really tough on Kramer. We couldn't finish off. The man really started off by saying outside of the strikeouts. I mean, that's really funny. They struck out 18 times. There are 27 outs that they give you in a ball game. So 2/3 of their outs were strikeouts. And he thought the at-bats were really well. He thought they grinded out at-bats and they looked good. If they simply just stopped being so stubborn and pompous, they'd probably be much better off. But they go by these ridiculous beliefs. They're the only people in the world who believe what they say. Like, if they gave up on Hicks earlier than they did, the Yankees would be in a better place. But Boone kept telling you how great he was. What they do, they ended up releasing him anyway. If they ditched the Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at shortstop experiment earlier than they did last year, the Yankees could be further in Oswald Peraza's development. But Boone said IKF was a great shortstop, one of the best in the game. What'd they do? They ended up ditching one of the better shortstops in the game, quote unquote. After all, if they just cut bait with Josh Donaldson after last season, when everyone else saw it was over for him, the Yankees could be in a better place. But Boone said we're all crazy for thinking he's finished. He probably had his last at-bat as a Yankee. And here we are with Luis Severino now. It's clear he's a shell of himself, washed up, that the injuries have finally taken a toll on the arm. We've been advocating for a bullpen assignment, a fake DL stint, anything to get him out of the rotation. But Boone insists to keep running him out there because he says he's just tipping his pitches and he'll change the delivery and be okay. And they thought they fixed all of that after a couple starts against the Angels and the Royals, where he gave up 3 runs in 5 innings. He goes out there Sunday, and he gets rocked the most he has in his major league career. And he's the first Yankee now in 89 years to allow 9 runs twice in a month. It was also his 4th time this season allowing 7 runs or more. That is incredibly difficult to do across a 34-start season. This guy just got here a month ago, or whatever it was ago. They don't get it. They just don't get it. And so the longer they carry this mentality about the back of his baseball card, etc., the longer they behave with this arrogance where they refuse to believe their players just aren't very good, but instead it's just insert excuse here, the longer they'll be in this purgatory that they're in. You understand? That's the problem. And until this guy Cashman takes a big vacation for the rest of his career, and until this guy Boone gets told to fuck off, it'll remain a problem. So how much longer are we going to play cheerleader and keep this act up, huh? Is it an act for the press? Are you different in the clubhouse? I don't think so. I doubt that it's any different because the way the Yankees play speaks a ton of volume about who their leader is. The way they run to first base, the way they go up there with no approach at the plate, The way they make mistakes on the bases every night. The way they throw the ball around the diamond once a series. That all speaks volumes on who is preparing them and how they are prepared. It's not tiring repeating the same old recycled nonsense over and over. It's garbage. It doesn't get you worked up a little bit? No, I guess not. No pulse. There's no pulse in this guy. I understand having confidence, but there's something called blind confidence where it can hurt you. You also have to have a little bit of urgency, a little bit of awareness, not be so tone deaf and recognize, oh, maybe we should try something new. And that goes for Cashman, Boone, Hal, all of these losers, the whole trifecta. When we return, we're going to talk a little bit about the Cody Bellinger news. Be right back here in episode 543 of the podcast, BD4.
You can also find us on social media. If you'd like, you can follow BD4 on Facebook, and we're at BD4Pod on both Instagram and Twitter. We appreciate you helping us grow more and more every day. Let's get back to it.
Welcome back to the show. You're listening to episode 543 of the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. So, yesterday, I think it was yesterday or early morning yesterday, as I'm recording this show, it's Monday, July 31st, Cody Bellinger was taken off the market. I said I have Manfred in my notes because the reason Cody Bellinger was taken off the trade market really is because Rob Manfred's playoff format. I got to tell you, man, between the Ohtani shit with the Angels, they're buying, the Padres probably, and any other mediocre-ass team now, the Cubs, the latest, I'm getting really annoyed at this. And I don't blame owners for being delusional. Just like I wouldn't blame a drunk guy for walking into a tree. He's drunk. What do you expect? But it's Manfred. It's Manfred and his stupid little participation playoffs where all of a sudden 40% of the league makes the postseason. It has obliterated the MLB trade deadline. Because now all of a sudden, at least this year, all these owners think their team has a shot at making the dance because they're 2 games above 500. That's all it takes. That's what rewarding mediocrity gets you. And I want to credit Greg from Yankee Crazy Podcast. He's been on the show a number of times for bringing that point up to me because I thought it was a very well made point. The expansion of the playoffs to where, 12 teams now make the playoffs? It's got everyone thinking they have a chance. I loved when it was just 10. That's a third of the league. I loved that. It was difficult to do. You had your clear-cut buyers and sellers. But now you got everyone thinking they have a chance. Delusional. The Cubs. The Angels. So all of a sudden, there goes your main course. I've been saying all year, not all year, but all the last month or so, you need 2 impact bats, and one of them must be named Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger's gone. Not that he probably would have helped this team that much, because he's a great player, but the Yankees are in such a dire situation, who knows? But if they were to buy, that's the guy you buy. Because realistically, you're not getting Juan Soto. And so he's gone. And Randall Grichuk, thank God he's off the market, because I did not want that guy. I don't want randoms who are having a decent season out of nowhere. And while we're on the topic of trades and shit, the Marlins and Yankees have discussed Gleyber Torres again. Miami, they've always liked Gleyber. They wanted him last year for Pablo Lopez, right? That deal never went through, but from the report from Randy Miller, Cashman has a steep price. It says the Yankees want Edward Cabrera, who's a young right-handed pitcher. They want Braxton Gerrit, young left-handed pitcher, and then they want 2 prospects in addition. Cabrera, he's a 25-year-old righty with a bunch of more years of control, I think until 2029. He's got a 4.74 ERA this season in 16 starts and a career 4.19 across 37 starts. He's had some nice games under his belt. He won 6 scoreless with 10 strikeouts against Oakland this season. I know it's Oakland, but he struck out the Cubs 12 times earlier in the year. Last season, I know he pitched a 2-hitter across 8 scoreless. That was also versus Oakland. But opening day last year, he had a 1-hit gem in 6 scoreless against Colorado. He has great stuff. It's about the upside with him. The fastball sits at 96. The changeup is his go-to off speed. He throws a curveball, and then occasionally he'll mix in a slider and a 2-seam sinker. So, if you look at his baseball savant page, everything's red. Red is good. The velocity, the movement, the spin rate, the expected batting average is red. The chase rate, he gets good extension. Everything looks promising. The indicators are all there, and we know the Yankees like indicators. His only problem is his command. He walks a ton of batters, ton of walks in there. But I think if you get Matt Blake to do some work with him on that, see what you can do, because the Yankee pitchers do throw strikes. That's a Matt Blake effect. So he's definitely not a finished product yet. This guy, Braxton Gerrit, you look at his baseball savant, it's a little underwhelming right now, but there is a lot of upside from what I hear. He's a lefty. He's under control as well, I think, till 2029. And he has recently added a cutter, which that cut fastball has been very effective for him. It's helped him become one of the better lefties in the game the last number of starts. It's helped him retire a lot of right-handed hitters that he had trouble with earlier in the year. So it's all interesting to hear this report on Gleyber. First of all, it's a deal I definitely consider and probably do, because nobody out there on the market at this point is helping move the needle. It'd be marginal if they did anything close to buying, especially with this latest Bellinger news. This team is going nowhere with some random rental. Nowhere. But I'm over Gleyber Torres. I've been for a while. I don't love the guy anymore. But as much as I don't love him, he has been a solid positive for the Yankees this season. Like, if we're talking this season, it is the bats that need help at the end of the day more than the arms. But it's Gleyber Torres. So if you buy on Tuesday, you could still move him and find 2 bats similar to his value, or 1 bat similar to his value if Cashman really wanted to, even in this market, because Torres is a 750 OPS guy. He's just not that good. And it wouldn't hurt to upgrade the starting rotation. Completing a deal like this, you'd have some guys for the future, both of them under team control. Plus, you got contracts coming off the books with Severino, Frankie Montas, Josh Donaldson, Harrison Bader, Wandy Peralta, Clay Holmes. Not all of those guys will be back. And so now you add potentially Torres to that coming off the books. That's a ton of money right there to be opened up. So, yeah, I think with the latest Bellinger news, with the loss last night, given that this team is now in last place, 55-50 on July 31st, this is definitely what you do. Moves like this. Focus on 2024. Enough with 2023. This is over. At this point, why burn any prospects for a rental? I have heard this is maybe like a long play for a Juan Soto. Moving Gleyber for the Hall of Prospects, then you flip them for Soto. I don't see it. I think the Yankees are way too focused on the luxury tax excuse. They got a bunch of guys on big contracts already. I see the Padres keeping him because of the participation playoffs, etc. I see all the reasons for it not happening, valid reasons or not. But in the end, this Torres to Miami deal is something I consider. Now, the Marlins thought it was too steep, so if you take away the 2 additional prospects and you just ask for Gerrit and Cabrera, maybe that's possible. You throw in somebody like a Marinaccio or maybe an Oswaldo Cabrera or something. Make the move. Make that move. Let those two guys pitch for you. Promote all your other prospects. See, there's a lot of guys down there who could be given a shot right now. Austin Wells, Estevan Florial, Andre Chaparro, Everson Pereira, recall Peraza. Please play him every single day. Maybe see if Dominguez can get a shot in September. Recall Johnny Brito, Randy Vasquez, and some of these guys. Give me new storylines to follow, right? Give me something promising, something to look at, and one that's actually going to progress the Yankees and get us somewhere. Don't give up any of these prospects on Tuesday for a stupid rental to get you 2 games better and still probably not good enough. Because I'm just done. I'm done with this team. And I've officially been done with this team for a few episodes now. I just think you got to be sellers. Sell off. Anybody not named Gerrit Cole, Aaron Judge, I guess Carlos Rodon, you just signed him. You want to keep Anthony Volpe around, see what he can do at shortstop for you. I would move him to second base, though. Anybody else, they can go. Torres can go. All the guys on expiring deals, like Bader, Peralta, maybe you want to keep Holmes, but Severino, see ya. See what Clark Schmidt could net you. I've heard him being in conversations. Maybe a contender wants a nice bench asset, so you see what you can get in a lefty Jake Bauers or a versatile player like IKF. I don't know. Anybody you can sell, please attempt to sell them. Because I'm over it. This team does not do one single thing well enough for me to want them to buy around the pieces that they have. I don't want to keep any of these guys. They don't hit. They don't score runs. They have a bad rotation. The bullpen hasn't been good for a while now. They're blowing 1-run games like it's nothing. They gave up inherited runners like it's nothing. Their defense is very suspect, especially in the outfield. It's horrendous. It's July 31st, and we've got infielders still playing outfield. Their base running is everything you teach not to do growing up. It's almost incredible. Their best player this season has been Gleyber Torres. Just think about that. Take his name away and just show everybody what he's done. All of his fanboys wouldn't be jumping for joy. This guy is a 250, 260s hitter with a 750-something OPS who plays suspect second base and is the main culprit for why this team runs the bases like a blind dog. Him being their best hitter on a near $300 million team should not give you confidence about him, but it should wake you the hell up about how damn pathetic this lineup is. It's time for this team to wake up and shake it up. Shift their philosophy. They have to shift their philosophy whenever it is that they do the inevitable and retool this roster. They need to do it with a new philosophy, a new outlook. It's time we ditch the garbage 3 true outcome mentality. Stop looking at launch angle first, exit velo, expected batting average, etc. Enough of going after guys only because of indicators, and we should probably go after guys simply because of the results they get. And stop looking for guys with home run power, but how about looking for guys with doubles power? Line drive gap hitters who can go the other way, rack up 30 doubles a season. That's the guy I want. That's where you'll find success, a doubles hitter. It's an extra base hit. It's still power, but the double comes around way more frequently than the home run does. I want hitters. I want high on-base percentage guys, high batting average guys. Cano was a doubles king. Look what he did for you. He helped you win. Andujar led you to a great season because he was a doubles king. You acquired Benintendi last year because he had doubles power. I want guys who know how to hit line drives off the wall. We need more guys like that and less of the all or nothing approach. Because way too many times we see that all or nothing approach and guys end up popping it up, rolling over an outside pitch, and just missing one. The 2009 Yankees, the last Yankees team to win a championship, by the way, they had 4 guys with 35 doubles or more on that roster. And how about going after some goddamn lefties too while you're at it? I mean, Jesus Christ, you have every reason to have a lineup stacked with lefties. You built your ballpark literally for that reason. A 314-foot wall right down the line. Over 80% of the pitchers you face this season have been right-handers. The whole world knows the right-handed pitcher is way more common than the left-handed pitcher. Use that. You have the stadium for it. You had all winter. And many of the off seasons before to address that. Nope. You keep chasing right-handed hitters instead. And there's a recent report. The Yankees are one of the few teams looking for right-handed hitters at the deadline. I saw a report just yesterday. I mean, you should know this. You've had, in the recent past, somewhat recent, guys come in here and have career seasons for you because they're in Yankee Stadium. It's no coincidence, right? Granderson wasn't the same anywhere else he played. Didi Gregorius wasn't the same anywhere else he played. You look at his spray chart, the entire right field is all freaking full of red balls. Raul Ibanez wasn't the same anywhere else. Matt Carpenter in 2020 batted 186 with St. Louis. In 2021 with St. Louis, he batted 169. He comes to the Yankees in 2022, bats 305. This year with San Diego, he's batting 166. It's right there. Lefties come here, they thrive. There's no structure in this lineup. There's no balance. Anyone bats anywhere at any time. That's another thing. Jake Bauers batted leadoff last night for you. Why? Willie Calhoun, who was just cut from the team, was apparently good enough to bat third for the team. Franchi Cordero batted sixth the entire month of April. I mean, come on, man. Have some roles. Establish some real set-in-tone roles on this team. Get guys comfortable. Stop switching them around, playing guys out of position, out of order. Jesus Christ. We'll be right back here on the show, episode 543 of the podcast. Stay with us.
If you have time in the day or maybe just prefer old-fashioned reading over listening, then you can always follow along and subscribe to BD4 Blog by going to BD4blog.com. We're not on there as often, but when we do post, it's just as entertaining, opinionated, and passionate as we are on this podcast. Thank you so much. And let's keep on with the show.
Welcome back to the show. I think we're going to wrap this up soon. I can't keep doing this, man. At the start of the I don't know why I'm wasting time on this, but like I said, I need the Yankees going 8-2 or 7-3 at worst on this 10-game stretch against Baltimore, Toronto, and Houston. Because if they want to stay alive in this playoff race, those are the three teams they have to jump, or at least two of them. The Yankees have begun it by going 1-2. So unless they win 7 straight or 6 of 7, goodbye optimism. And that's not going to happen, by the way. They're going home to face Tampa for 3 now. That starts tonight. And then they host Houston for 4 games in the Bronx. So, yeah. If you give a shit, we'll tip our caps real briefly. Aaron Judge, I'm giving him my respect. Yeah, Aaron Judge plays 2 games, and we win one of them, and he sits, and then we lose. He had 3 hits this series, 500 batting average, a home run, 2 RBIs, 3 walks, a K, 2 runs scored, 6 total bases, and had a 1667 OPS in 2 games. What is there to say? Aaron Judge plays, and the Yankees look better, but he's not going to save the Yankees because their roster is just that bad outside of him. And it's like Michael Kay says a lot. It's not basketball, right? This is baseball. You only get 4 at-bats a game. In basketball, you could take 35 shots if you wanted to. So, Aaron Judge does his best, but I wish he would have played the 3rd game of this set. But at this point, what's it even matter? Yeah, in the rotation, we're going to Gerrit Cole. He was the only Yankee to really show up and give you length in this series. He went 7 innings, no runs, 5 strikeouts, no walks, 3 hits, all singles. And unfortunately gets the no decision. He pitched wonderfully. It's unfortunate that he's not 16-2 because he deserves more wins than 9. He had an excellent pitch mix in this one. That's something I've been asking for Cole to mix up his pitches. It's no coincidence that he mixes it up and he has one of his best outings of the season. He was throwing everything, the four-seamer, the slider, the changeup, that knuckle curve. He even threw the cutter a good amount in this one. He went with the cut fastball a lot. So Gerrit Cole was great, and then we'll go to we'll go to Ian Hamilton for this one. 2 innings last night, 3 strikeouts. He was perfect. 20 of the 27 pitches he threw were for strikes. So Ian Hamilton continues to do his job. He might be an attractive piece to dangle in front of some contenders and see what you can get for him. So we'll head to our final break, get back, and wrap it up with our progress reports. We'll run through them real briefly and then do our trivia, and that'll be that. So stay with us here on the podcast, episode 543 of BD4. I'm your host, RJ. Be right there.
Studio 69 Productions is a production company that allows content creators of all genres to market their podcast or whatever project they're working on. It's an online platform that will promote your content, no problem. All you have to do is get in touch with film director and podcast producer Leo Rodriguez from Say No More Podcast, and you're good to go. You can find him on Instagram at Studio 69NJ, Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. So we're going to run through these. We're not even going to waste time giving descriptions. So we do progress reports every month if you're new here to the show. And how this works is we go through the entire roster, or, the important play. I don't know. We go through the roster and we grade everybody based on how their season has gone. And these grades are all relative to expectations. So one player having a higher grade than another player doesn't mean that player's been better. It's just relative to expectations. So every player is graded on a different scale, so don't murder me if you disagree. Starting at backstop, Trevino, I give him a D. I think he's been horrendous this year. He's playing some good catcher, we know that, but he was not hitting. He's hurt. Maybe you could argue give him a C- or something. I don't really care. Higashioka, I gave a C-. He's shown something with the bat, but he's not good. Rizzo, C-. Torres, B. Volpe, C-, LeMahieu, D, Donaldson, F, Stanton, F, Judge, A, Bader, B-, Bowers, B-, McKinney, B-, IKF, B-, rotation, C, bullpen, drops to a B+. They've been horrible for a bit now. And the Yankees as a team, I'm giving them a D. I think they've been, they're a last place team. They're 55-50, and they're not doing their job. So what do you want me to do? This is relative to expectation. That's it. Let's wrap it up with our trivia, and we're out of here. Yes, I'm done. All right. So, in this episode 543 of the podcast, our NYY-NYK-MMA trivia question of the day is, when Mickey Mantle broke camp with the Yankees in 1951 as a rookie, which number was he initially given? It was not number 7. When Mickey Mantle broke camp with the Yankees in 1951 as a rookie, which number was he initially given? So let me know the answer wherever you can reach me. And that's it. I appreciate you stopping by. Episode 543 is in the books, so that's it. We're out of here. And the next time we talk, it'll be after the trade deadline. We'll be talking about the Rays series, the trade deadline. So it should be interesting. So we'll see what happens. The Yankees suck. It's all over. All hope is lost. They're not winning a World Series, so I don't care about anything else. They can make the playoffs. They're not winning a World Series. My hope is that they don't make the playoffs and shit gets bad and the media causes a shitstorm, and that maybe finally forces some change, though I doubt it will because this team is that pathetic in their front office. All right, later. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you, and we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees and go Knicks!